Hi, I'm Jake. I make RPG supplements and videos about Pathfinder 2, or PF2. I love PF2. Gast says hi. Loot's been getting more attention. Gast is like, no, me! So, I'm going to be breaking Runelord up into 2 different videos because it's long and that's what I have time for. So, starting this one, I'm going to be doing the class archetype overall, the adjustments for first level, and the class archetype feats that go with it. Then next video will be the sins and the additional spells. I gotta say, overall, for Runelord, I'm happy about a lot of things, but primarily, I'm happy that there's a staff wizard. And yes, I know any wizard can use a staff, but no! I mean, like the staff familiar that was in 3.5 in Dragon Magazine. I don't remember the issue number, I'm not going to pretend. The replacement of a familiar with a magic staff. The Runelords are all about the extra spells and the staff magic and the thunking people on the head with their staff to make them suck against their spells. It's a staff familiar wizard, if you're familiar with 3.5, that's what I'm calling this. There are other parts of it that are cool too. Like, I like that it is restrictive in a way because it makes it feel more like being creative under constraints. It forces you to be more creative. It's an exercise in expanding yourself even though it's a restriction. It makes it more interesting. And if you don't agree with me, I will point you to a Brandon Sanderson video at the end of this and see if you can hear it from him instead. Yeah, I got Sanderson to back me up. Yeah, all right. Runelord, rare class archetype. You've learned arcane magic following the path of the Runelords. You learn the secrets of runic magic, the building blocks of magic, but be warned, you might succumb to sin in your pursuit of power. The 7 runes held in highest regard by the Runelords echo the addictive power of the 7 sins. It was originally the 7 virtues and then got corrupted, now it's the 7 sins. That's a long lore story short. Beyond the runes themselves, you also learn the techniques of the ancient Runelords. You learn to use their signature weapons and can acquire the secrets of the ancient magic items called Aeon stones, embedding them into your skin. Like everyone who has ever played Diablo wants to be able to do. Oh, I like this rock. The Runelord. First level. You draw untold power from runes, sometimes called sin magic. You associate with one of the 7 sins, also known as the 7 rewards of rule: envy, gluttony, greed, lust, pride, sloth, and wrath. I picture a lot of people choosing wrath. They're just a lot of fun combat spells. If you choose this class archetype, you must select Runelord Dedication as your 2nd level class feat. Prerequisites: you must be a wizard. Runelord adjustments: you become trained in martial polearms and spears. Yeah! When your proficiency for simple weapons increases, your proficiencies in these weapons increases as well. You learn the Thessalonian language, which nobody cares about, except lore nerds, which I don't fault you for. I love lore. There's just so much in this system that I don't know it yet. Instead of an arcane thesis, you gain a personal rune. Your personal rune also affects your arcane bond. You must select the School of Thessalonian Rune Magic as your arcane school, and you must... I'm sorry, that was a ring up your nose. And you must choose one sin to specialize in. When you cast any curriculum spell or school spell from the School of Thessalonian Rune Magic, you do so simply by tracing runes of power in the air. This removes the need to speak incantations aloud, which I also love because that's what I wanted from the Runesmith. It's a cool, interesting way to set out the stages of magical power. Different learnings, different echelons, scales of power. Like if any of you have seen the Merlin movie from, 2000 with Sam Neill in it, there are different stages of being a wizard. There's a wizard by incantation, there's a hand wizard, and then there's a wizard that just projects their thoughts into reality, and it becomes so. So this is a rune or hand wizard. You don't have to utter incantations anymore. That's cool. It's like you've reached a different, higher level of learning. When you refocus, you do so by contemplating or indulging in your sin. What would it be like to be really angry at the next bugbear I see? Each sin is opposed by 2 others. The incompatibility of these sins means that casting magic philosophically appropriate to those opposing sins, as represented by each school's anathema, interrupts your connection to your own sin and personal rune. I like the way they did this, because it's sort of based on emotion, and people can sort of relate to it better than, I'm a transmuter, so I don't know anything about illusion or enchantment. If you violate your sin's anathema, you lose the benefits of your personal rune, and whenever you attempt to cast a curriculum spell or school spell, you must succeed at a DC 15 flat check or the spell is lost. This disruption lasts until you complete an atone ritual. Unlike a normal atone ritual, Arcana can be used for both the primary and secondary checks. Makes sense. I'm glad they put that in there. Because little stuff like that just saves GMs headaches going, well, okay, your wizard doesn't have religion, so I guess you have to go to a church. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Can I just use Arcana? I don't know. Let me see if that's balanced. It's just stressful to be a GM, and anything like that that takes some weight off of the shoulders of a GM makes everybody happier. Because then you have a less stressed out GM who just wants to kill the party. Or play a different adventure or something. Your curriculum spells, including spells of your own sin, never violate this anathema, sometimes providing alternatives to prohibited magic. You gain Advanced School Spell as a bonus feat at 8th level, gaining the Advanced School Spell for the School of Thessalonian Rune Magic. Once you've begun your studies of Sin Magic, there is no turning back from its allure. It's alluring. I like this image they used, but where's the embedded Aeon stone? There's like a tattoo on his head, on his temple, but I would like to see like an embedded stone somewhere in this character's flesh. I don't see it. It's just missing. Skipping the rune magic for now because that's all the sins. Going instead to the Arcane Bond and Personal Rune, and then we'll do the feats. Arcane Bond and Personal Rune. Rune Lords hail from an era where even a scholar was expected to be able to defend themselves with arms if necessary, leading to the practice of attaching a blade to the typical wizard staff. You must choose a polearm or spear as your arcane bond. In place of an arcane thesis, you have a personal rune which appears on your bonded weapon. The weapon functions as a staff with charges equal to the highest rank of spells you can cast, and contains the sin spells from your sin up to that rank, including your cantrips. Your personal rune isn't a property rune and doesn't count against the weapon's limit of such runes. Awesome! If you prepare a magical staff, it merges with your bonded item until your next daily preparations, adding its charges and spell list, while merge the weapon's haft takes on aesthetic aspects of the staff. Great. That's freaking amazing! You just start off with a bunch more spells, and you find a staff, and you just shove it into your other staff, so you have extra staff spells. It gives the arcanist, that is the wizard, the book learner, prepared spells, flexibility of some aspects of being a spontaneous caster. It makes you feel so much more prepared and powerful. I love the magic staff. Runelord feats. As you continue along your path of Thessalonian study, you are able to learn more abilities used by the ancient Rune Lords. Additional feats: Tattoo Artist. Yeah! It's just cool. It's just a fun feat. It can make your whole party happy. Or make them annoyed because now you have something new to spend all your gold on. Alright, Runelord Dedication, level 2 feat. It has the traits Rare, Archetype, Class, Dedication. I'm not going to be repeating any of those for any of the other feats. Prerequisites: Runelord. Your connection to your sin suffuses all magic you use. When you indulge in your sin to refocus, you can also exchange one spell you've prepared for one of your curriculum or sin spells of the same rank. Usually that is a separate mid-level feat for a class, to be able to switch out one of your spells for some specific theme of spell. This you take as part of what you're required to take in order to get this class archetype. So, yeah, okay, it's a requirement, but it is so friggin' useful to, after one fight, be like, you know what? I didn't need Gust of Wind. I'd like to trade that out. Because you take Gust of Wind. Oh, seriously. Tell me if you take Gust of Wind. Why? Why? Alright, next feat, level 2. Embed Aeon Stone. It has the traits Downtime and Skill. It's a skill feat at level 2. I have to say, pausing again, I have to say, I love when an archetype gives you 2 feats that you can take at 2nd level, because you can more quickly take other archetypes. Especially if it's a class archetype, you can sometimes feel confined by it. Like, look at the Seneschal Witch. You kind of have to take a feat that you might not want just to keep going in that class archetype. I love having lower level feats. Make them crap, fine. But it does the little something, especially if it's a skill feat. That's even perfecter. It's a word. Look it up. Don't look it up. It's not a word. But I love the skill feat at second level that allows you to more quickly get out of the class archetype so you can have more flexibility. I'm not saying you have to run away from the class archetype. It just gives you more options, and options are good. Handcuffs are bad. All right. Prerequisites: Runelord dedication, training, and crafting. You discover the secrets to embedding Aeon stones into your flesh. You spend 1 day attuning to an Aeon stone and physically embedding it in your skin. While the stone is embedded this way, you gain the benefits of the Aeon stone as if it were orbiting above your head, but it protects the stone from being noticed or stolen as easily. Aeon stones in your flesh must be invested to function as usual. I love this. If it does nothing else, I love this, because if you walk into a town with a rock floating around your head, everybody knows you're an adventurer, and you have money, and you have magic. Everyone knows. It doesn't matter if the town is full of complete commoner idiots. Everyone knows. Motherfucker! No more interruptions. God, fuck you. You can also use this activity to safely remove an embedded Aeon stone in 1 day. Someone without this feat can attempt to surgically remove it safely by spending 1 day and succeeding at a DC 30 medicine check, or hastily by simply ripping it from a corpse. Not a living person. Corpse. Because apparently corpses immediately become mushy as soon as they are made into corpses. Magically. Next feat, level 4, Aeon Resonance. Prerequisites: embed Aeon Stone. You gain the resonant power of one embedded Aeon Stone as if it were placed in a Wayfinder. While you can embed multiple Aeon Stones on your flesh, you can gain the resonance power from only one embedded stone at a time, selected each day when you make your daily preparations. Special at 8th level. You can take this feat again. If you do, you gain the resonance powers of up to 4 invested Aeon Stones instead of only 1. I love that it upgrades so significantly at 8th level. All of a sudden, you get a bunch more benefits. This is really cool, because the resonance powers are always better than the base powers. Okay, I think always, in most cases. And the resonance powers are cool. All right, next feat, level 6, Rod of Rule. Your personal rune is connected to a guy named Rod. No. Your personal rune is connected more closely to your arcane bond. You gain the critical specialization effects of your arcane bonded weapon. Eee. In addition, whenever you critically hit a creature with your arcane bonded weapon, they begin to feel the pull of your sin, imposing a -2 circumstance penalty to saves against any of your curriculum or sin spells until the end of your next turn. Freaking amazing. Obviously, this is built to be a Gish, but it's a Gish with only one class, Wizard. It's fucking awesome. The polearm's critical specialization effect is to move a target in 5 feet in any direction of your choice. And the spear, your only other option, is to give your target clumsy one until the start of your next turn. So it would help your martial friends hit them better. So the critical specialization effect is going to be helpful for you because you're a freaking wizard. And it can help your allies. And they get penalties versus your spells. This is amazing! For level 6 feat? I want this on every caster! I need a Runelord Witch now. You know me, witches, because witches. That's why. Rod of Rule, amazing. Must take for this archetype. Next feat, level 6, Sinbladed Spell. When action has the trait Spell Shape, so you're going to spend 1 action activating your spell shape on a spell and then doing a spell. Requirements, you are holding a weapon in the polearm or spear group. You punctuate your spellcasting with a flourish of your weapon, imparting physical force to your magic. If the next spell you cast is a non-cantrip, sin, or curriculum spell that affects a single target, and you either succeed on your attack roll or the target fails a saving throw against the spell, a wound in the shape of your personal rune appears on the target, dealing additional persistent bleed damage equal to the spell's rank, in addition to its regular effects. There's no limit on how many times you can do this per day. You can just keep making people bleed. It's only a little bleed, but some spells are only castable if the target's bleeding, so it's handy. Plus, additional damage is always good, and you can put it on multiple enemies. So, bleed them dry. Is it worth it for a level 6 feat? I have to say yes, because, like, it's you can just add it to every time you cast a spell. It doesn't cost anything but an action. Yeah, I know, those are a premium. It matters. Not everybody's going to take it. I personally wouldn't, because I don't care enough about persistent bleed damage. I just want, like, more spells. So I would probably take a multi-class archetype at that point. But if you are sticking with this, extra damage is always good. So it's still useful. Next feat, level 8, Sin Reservoir. During your daily preparations, you can indulge in your associated sin or meditate on its values and risks. When you do, you gain 1 additional spell slot of any spell level up to 2 levels below the highest level wizard spell you can cast. You can prepare only 1 of your curriculum spells in this slot. Got an extra spell at level 8. That's freaking great. This is a good archetype. All right, level 10. Sin Counterspell. Prerequisites. Counterspell. Go figure. Your deep connection to a specific sin allows you to easily negate spells that sin opposes. Instead of being able to counter a foe spell with Counterspell only if you have the same spell prepared, you can Counterspell it with any of your curriculum spells if the spell cast would violate your sin's anathema. So you can, in old terms, Counterspell your opposing schools. Totally thematic, rich flavor. Awesome. That's great. If you want to Counterspell at all, that's a great feat for you. All right, last feat I'm covering for today. Orichalcum Bond, level 18. Ugh. Prerequisites, Rod of Rule. Rod rules! The ancient Thessalonians associated sins with different sky metals, and you've adapted that theory to empower your bonded weapon beyond its normal limits. When your personal rune is placed on a weapon during your daily preparations, choose a weapon property rune of up to your level that is common or you otherwise have access to, up to 18th level at that point. That rune is also added to the weapon until your next daily preparations. This rune counts against your weapon's limit as normal. I wish that were lower level because it's amazing, but it's amazing. So, it's amazing. It's a great feat. You should take it. If you're playing at level 18 and you don't take that, why? It's just a free rune. It can be greater anything. It's an awesome feat. That is all for today. I will cover all the spells, including the sins. Delicious sins. And the weird Thessalonian magic spells. Runelord is freaking awesome. You can have so many spells with this class archetype. I'm not even a fan of wizards. And I'm pretty certain I'm making one of these. Because it's just fun. It's extra spells. And it's full of flavor. And you can dig rocks into your flesh. Why wouldn't you do that? And it's even for a magical benefit. It's not just because. I know I'm weird. Sorry. Thank you for lending me your eyes and ears. If you're a patron, thank you for helping out the channel every month. I appreciate it. And if you want to be a patron yourself and win things like big fuck off dice or a dice tray that's really cool, look at this thing, resin, that's pretty. Anyway, then you can go to the description and the Patreon link there. If you pledge $5 or more a month, that you get entered into a drawing to win one of these things. It'll be drawn by Loot because he's getting his surgery. I'm still thrilled with that. Okay. Yes, I'm going to have the link for the rival academies here. But here, I'm going to have a video to Brandon Sanderson talking about how restricting magic is more interesting.